Welcome to our audience around the world. It's a privilege to moderate this event today, continuing our series dedicated to the cross-industry impact of AI. Our conversation is harmonized with a global landscape that is marked by increased investments, increased mergers, increased economic growth, and novel regulatory frameworks. Just a few days ago, the Council of Europe has adopted the first ever international treaty, legally binding treaty, aimed at ensuring the respect of human rights, the rule of law and democracy legal standards in the use of AI systems. While there are several industries where AI has already demonstrated a transformative impact, we selected two verticals for our first episodes, fintech and health tech. According to several consulting firms, as well as reports from the World Economic Forum, OECD, IMF, World Bank, World Health Organization, AI is poised to disrupt this industry over the next decade. And there are numerous levers. Those that are usually mentioned are productivity growth, workforce dynamics, recalibrating corporate culture, significant AI integration, automation, and hybrid workflow creation. Today, we have invited global experts and global citizens that will share their insights and experience with us. Please allow me to share our guest speakers. I will only highlight a few of their distinguished accomplishments. First, please allow me to introduce Dr. Marta Boeckenfeld. She's a LinkedIn top voice, CEO and founder, named Top 100 Women of the Future, as well as an AI, Web3, Metaverse advisor and investor. More recently, she has also been named a UN Peace Ambassador. She is a well-sought-after keynote speaker around the world, and she is known for assisting enterprises in their AI-powered business transformation. Welcome, Dr. Boeckenfeld.
Thanks for having me, Ingrid. I'm super excited to be here today.
Thank you. And next, please allow me to introduce Joaoa Bocas. He's a globally recognized business thought leader in wearable technologies and AI. He's ranked the world's #1 digital health influencer. He's an accomplished entrepreneur and the CEO of Digital Salutem, a digital and business transformation consultancy for healthcare organizations. He serves as an advisor, board member, and highly sought-after keynote speaker around the world. He has a keen eye for recognizing untapped opportunities and bringing together diverse stakeholders to drive collaboration and innovation. As the founder and CEO of several successful healthcare technology companies, he has built a strong track record for transforming ideas into reality. Besides and beyond his entrepreneurial endeavors, he is a philanthropist who actively supports initiatives focused on improving global health. Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for the invite, Ingrid, and I'm delighted to be here with you.
Thank you. And third, please allow me to introduce Yamina Hakem. She is the founder and CEO of Global Reach BI. She's a globally recognized executive with over 3 decades of experience in international business development and information technology in the pharmaceutical and life sciences industries. As the founder and CEO of Global Reach BI, a consulting company dedicated to strategic intelligence, she has harnessed AI technology to provide client partners with strategic data-driven insights. This innovation has propelled Global Reach BI to the forefront of the pharmaceutical life sciences industries. Prior to founding Global Reach BI, she had an illustrious career at Thomson Reuters, where she held several key leadership positions. She is a member of the board of directors at Pharmacelera and Le Conseiller du Commerce Extérieur de la France, and she provides expert guidance on international trade and economic development, making significant contributions to the advancement of the pharmaceutical and life sciences industries. She will share with us key insights about pharma industry trends, as well as the recent launch of her generative AI-enabled Spring platform, which contributes to the global pharma ecosystem. Welcome to all of you, and I know our audience is already excited to hear your expertise and opinions about how AI is impacting all industries.
Yeah, I would say when you look at AI, you see that entire industries, and it's not healthcare and fintech, are disrupted by AI in a positive sense, because we have a lot of AI which is for social good. And what, in my view, is the most important, that we can't see AI in isolation. we have to see it really with the convergence of technology. So with all the other technology we have and connected with AI, this is what brings it forward. So if we look at the cryptocurrency, if we look at digital wallets, for example, in healthcare, we can also use wallets for healthcare data. We can do cross-border. All is driven by AI and everything is connected. A lot of my clients always ask me, why is this happening now? And I'm saying it's happening now because now we have the big convergence. And there's one company, ARK Investment, who has done a fantastic study on this, how this convergence goes through all vertical. And the estimate is in 2030, the value generation is about 230 trillion US dollar. So we're not only seeing productivity growth, we also see completely new business models developing. And obviously, my dear friends here on this call in healthcare in particular, where I'm super excited about, see a lot where we can improve people's health, people's also not only health care, but prevention is done completely different. And one example last year, which really blew my mind, was the example with brain-chip interfaces, where a woman couldn't talk and couldn't communicate to her husband, and then you had a digital avatar. So you had the technology of digital twin avatars and virtual worlds plus brain chip interfaces plus the neurologic connections of AI. So that's beautiful for me, for really helping people and also changing people's life for the better.
Thank you. And
I'm really excited about this particular time, because I really see AI maturing in all industries around the world, but certainly in health tech, in healthcare, which is my industry. And we can mention many things. We can mention data privacy and security, enhancing protection, AI and cybersecurity. I was at Cleveland clinic in Ohio, and they have a dedicated center for cybersecurity, a Cleveland Clinic cybersecurity operations center, which is fascinating, with all this data that brings AI insights and preventative measures about cyber attacks, which is mind-blowing. And AI now for personalization, we can tailor user experiences and recommended treatments for many conditions. AI in customer service and triage in healthcare, doing different things, patterns of behavior and everything. But also I have to mention the new kid on the block, which is generative AI. And now anybody, I was talking to the CEO of Mayo Clinic a few months ago at the conference, and they mentioned, and the other keynote, and they mentioned that now we don't need to be an AI expert any longer to really truly benefit from AI. And that's fascinating. An average level of knowledge and skill can actually be an expert. Like us, we can do a search, go on ChatGPT and find things, find information, find collaboration, find information about diseases. So that's very interesting. And yeah, that's really a transformative kind of insight in the way, in the direction that we are heading. You know, that's very exciting. And I'll leave you one last little thing about the predictive analytics and AI. Now we can truly head in that direction. A few years ago, or the AI was not mature enough, or the data was not reliable. Now we can actually blend the two and do predictive analytics with qualitative data and truly reliable AI. And that's groundbreaking for an industry of healthcare that really truly relies on data.
Absolutely. So you're touching on democratizing AI and the influence it had across all industries. I think also what we see is a new wave of companies that before were never in several industries, and AI allowed them to penetrate. So we're seeing a blurring of the boundaries within industries.
Absolutely.
Yamina, what do you see?
Yeah, I mean, certainly what strikes me most is how fast the industry is moving. That's really the most important element. As Joe was just saying, the technology is maturing and it is being embraced by different industries. Because at the end of the day, this technology has been available, but it has been the privilege of a few. And now, with all that is happening, the exponential increase in compute chip, programming, data availability, it makes it that it's now possible to analyze such a huge source of data and many different sources, many different formats to make sense out of it. And it's moving fast. Obviously, the tech industry is important. It's happening in fintech, but in the life sciences industry, in the pharma industry, it's now, I mean, at the beginning, it was testing it. Are we going to go for it? And it was the privilege of a few, but now that's it. Everybody is embracing it. You can't spend a week without reading anything that is healthcare related, where there's a new development. And again, last week, one that was extremely interesting was how the Apple Watch that we all have is now being used in the clinical trials as a biomarker for atrial fibrillation. I mean, talk to me, like a year ago, I wouldn't have bet on that. And this is now happening. And it's only the beginning. It has, in the pharma, certainly it has been in place, validated, some FDA, as Martha was saying, some FDA approvals in the med device. Now, the proof in the pudding is going to be in the therapeutics. And this is where it's going to be really a big game changer in really helping the industry reduce the time to market, reduce the cost of those developments, and bring to the patients some therapeutic treatment that is personalized. And we are there, we are getting there. So I'm going to stop on that because I'm going to move on to the next section afterwards.
Let's wait until we share some of the opportunities, but
yes.
Absolutely. We see the rapid, not only adoption by enterprises, but I've seen also boards being able to tolerate a little bit more risk related to AI. Before, boards didn't want it at all. So now we see the boards being agile in adopting, because they understand that if they don't adopt and don't embrace this AI risk, they're gonna lose in the competitive arena.
Obviously for finance, but it's similar to also what Joe mentioned. Privacy and data security is one. The biggest threat right now is in particular cybersecurity, because if everything is online and digital, there's more exposure. The second one I would say is the war for talent. So according to the latest research, you have obviously more demand than you have in particular also in finance, then you have dedicated people, and JP Morgan is on the top to get all the talents from other Wall Street companies. So it's a real war out there. And the question for me is always, how can we make sure that we get more people educated? And it starts from the top. So I do a lot of executive and board level education, but also others like women education, as you know, which I find incredible important, so that we can all get more knowledgeable, because we have a huge gap. So that's the second part. And Yamina already also mentioned the third part, which is data. We have so much data, and so far, in healthcare, we also have a lot of data. In finance, we have a lot of data, and data has been used partially, but I wouldn't say that the data has been very well connected. And in particular, even though I jump from finance to healthcare, if you allow me, healthcare, it's a real problem that you don't have the data always with you when you travel, when you go to somewhere else, because the different doctors have your data, but you go in another country and everything is lost again. So I think there are huge opportunities, not only with AI, but if you connect it with the digital wallet for healthcare data. So data as an overall is a challenge, or this massive data. And the fourth one is really a bit, I would say, also of perception. here. So how do we convince people that AI, yes, it's a threat, you can lose your job, but you also have an opportunity. And we come to all of this discussion, universal basic income. Geoffrey Hinton just a couple of days ago reiterated, we need universal basic income. Sam Altman, who's a big defender of universal basic income, has said we need universal basic computing, which means that everyone should have a slice of GPT-7, as he calls it. And everything has anyway changed since last week when we had this big announcement with ChatGPT 4.0. We were really all, oh my God, what is coming here? Is we are getting closer to her, so to the science fiction movie, and in particular for doctors, I have seen studies that ChatGPT are being more empathetic towards their patients, and that will be the same in all industry. So I discovered another AI which is called Yung.ai, and you can see your when you talk to this, you can see which mood you are in, and it's also used for healthcare, for discovering Parkinson and other things. So all of this as a challenge can be misused. But for me, the most important is the more people we can educate, the more people we can get together in an ecosystem of government, of big companies, of everyone. Sometimes we underestimate the power of every person. If we have every person on the planet getting on to this, we have more power than the big tech.
Well, already the number of people using it on a recurrent basis is actually, if you would count it as a country, the largest country in the world and generating the highest amount of GDP in the world. So it has a lot of power, yes. Joe, what do you see as a biggest challenge?
Well, it's following on from Marta. She mentioned the education piece and global challenges, such as the shortage of clinicians, doctors, nurses, professionals in general, and linking that challenge with AI. Certainly, AI has a big skill gap to cover right now because it's all happening at the same time. So the shortage of professional skills, people with the expertise in AI can be an issue to start with. But then there are other major issues such as bias and fairness, the ethical side of things. Even now, the governments around the world are still creating legislation to protect human beings, the governments, and also is a conflict of interest because we can't really go all in on AI and neglect these true challenges on the ground. And the high crisis also of significant investment in technology, because I mean they have to prioritize, and also the cost. The cost is also an issue in terms of investment. Where do we start? But as you well know, I'm also very interested in wearables, in medtech, and medical devices, and integration is still a big issue because difficulty of integrating all these new technologies, AI, which they bring data, they bring technological challenges, and they bring more existing challenges to already perceived challenges on the ground and more workflows to deal with. So is all these things happening at the same time, which is great in one way, but the other way is bringing more complexity to already very complicated industry, I might say. But also at the same time, I see a very bright future when things are actually being dealt with one step at a time.
Absolutely. So
You've touched on one of the key points that I was going to talk about. And you know, when we were saying earlier that the AI now is appreciated at board level as important for the companies. Implementation is what is keeping them awake at night. And when you talk about implementation, you have two options to implement AI. Either you do it internally or you do it externally. So you've just touched on a few of the issues, like the lack of expertise, lack of the fight for the right people, the right staff, who understands AI, who understands the technology. And to be honest with you, when I implemented spraying, that was one of my biggest problems. I needed to find somebody who understood the science and the AI at the same time. So that was really hard. So that's a really important element. But you know what? Another element that is extremely important when you want to implement it internally, sorry, is where do we start? So a lot of them just don't know, okay, what are we going to do with this technology? Which problem are we going to solve? Where are we going? Which department, which business unit is going to be used? Where are we going to be implementing that? So that's one of the biggest issue. Where do we start? We all know it's important, but what do we do with it? And that's okay. You can have a ChatGPT on your iPhone, but if you don't know how to prompt it, or if you don't know how to ask a question, then you're going to be stuck with it. And it's good to have it, but if you don't know what to do with it, that's another element. So implementing it internally definitely has some challenges. And I think that the big one is, where do we start? Then when you want to implement it externally, so in terms of partnerships, understanding who to go with, then certainly what I hear from the industry is that there are so many different tools now available. Which one do we choose? Which one do we go for? And because when you're going to be starting such a project, it's going to be for hopefully the long term. So that's going to be a major investment to learn each other, how we're going to work. And it might be that it's a small startup, but they are not going to be there in the next year. So it's certainly from the industry, talking to those that need to enable AI within the companies, it's very much, there are so many tools. Which one do we choose? Obviously, the big pharma is having the luxury of working with the Googles and the Apples of this world. But when you are not a Novartis, not a Roche or whoever, or J&J, you may not have that luxury. So who do you go with? So that's another challenge. So definitely, we are all aware that it's important. How do we implement it is one of the key challenges.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Yeah, I would say that first of all, how gets in particular Gen AI is a huge opportunity. So McKinsey has estimated that actually finance, surprisingly, is one of the top #1 benefiting from generative AI, because from front to back, banks are using a lot of languages. So their estimate is $200 to $300 billion opportunity. So bankers always like numbers. That's why it's also empowering them. You have 2 to 3 times more operating income when you do it right. As Yamina said, it's not easy to do it in the right way. So 3 ways to really implement AI, I would say. The first one, when you class that, is embed. So embedding is, you can use also with regard to the, like, there are 100,000s, but there is quite simple in a way when you look at the use case. Embedding, everyone will embed Microsoft Copilot, because most of the people, hundreds of millions of people, I think it's close to 400 million people, have Microsoft Teams suite. So obviously you will implement the Copilot, who's connected to everything, and they are using their own ChatGPT, but also OpenAI. The second one is when you look at embedding, is Salesforce. Salesforce also has a CRM, so that's quite straightforward, and also in other industry. The second one is how to more improve, transform mid to back office. Yeah, so there are lots of ways to increase productivity, and that's not for me. That is also, I get excited about it, yes, but not as excited about as for the third one, which is really innovation and transformation. So how can we transform businesses? And that's where the fun starts, I would say. And also, as Yamina said, I today just published what are the specific ChatGPTs, and it's mind-blowing. It's not all OpenAI, but a lot of them are connected to OpenAI, because Sam Altman also made a statement, and we see that, as you have highlighted, Ingrid, every day, every week, he is eating all startups. I mean, they come up with video, they come up with music, booms, next day, OpenAI does it anyway better. So forget your little startup, it's eating away. So the third one, in terms of innovation, for example, Morgan Stanley was very brave last year, started 16,000 financial advisors are now trained, not only trained with ChatGPT, but they have access to I would say Albert Einstein of wealth management, yeah. So all the data in the company is pulled together, and all the approved reports and all the knowledge. So the poor financial advisor in, I don't know, in a little city and wherever, can just on a fingertip now have the access to Albert Einstein of wealth management. And that is something also we will see with doctors, we will see with everyone. You have your Albert Einstein always with you. The challenge will be hallucination, bias, accuracy, and all of that, what we know already. And then there's another thing which we observe, which is the AI agent. Yeah, so money on autopilot, let's say, or health on autopilot. So you will be totally scanned. That's not very far away. With a digital twin, you can already do it. You walk out of your door, so the scanning, oh, you have X, Y, that. So today, your health regime is it. You eat this, you do that, you do that. Obviously, we are a bit scared of that, because also Big Brother is watching you, all the science fiction coming true. But it's my prediction that this is closer than we think, because we have already AI agents. So chatbot, and these will make decisions for you. And you can think about very good use cases. People are concerned about refinancing their flat, for example. And they don't want to go through the hassle to compare all the different banks. So AI will do it for you. It's not difficult. Compare all the different banks, and decision will be obviously final. Maybe you can push the button, but it's like, okay, you have to refinance now, you have to reshuffle, you have to reinvest, you have to do this. So it's a completely different way thinking about that. And you have to think about, how do we control, how do we make it responsible AI, how do we make it ethical AI? So we have to think about all these consequences in this new world where society is changing. I have AI agents, I have her as a friend, as a ChatGPT doctor, I have my lover, my everything could be an AI. And this is not far. This is here right now, with digital twin, with avatars, with what we have seen last week.
Thank you.
Very exciting times. It's difficult for me to pin down one trend, but I'm going to try to be very succinct. But I want to mention a couple of things very, very quickly. Of course, the improved diagnostics in healthcare are very, very important. Early detection, AI in medical imaging, for example. Now we have precision medicine and even predictive modeling. The drug, this AI accelerating the drug discovery process and treatment. And of course, the enhanced patient care with telemedicine, virtual assistants, and platforms. But I would like to leave you with actually with predictive analytics, which I mentioned at the beginning. And I'll tell you a story very, very quickly. In 2015, when I was doing a startup with another colleague, when I kind of dived in digital health, we tried to do this, to have a platform for predictive analytics. We gather data from medical devices and wearables and apply, of course, automation and AI. It was way too early, but now, nearly 10 years later, I'm really seeing this happening. And I just came back from Abu Dhabi, from the Abu Dhabi Global Healthcare Conference, well organized from the Department of Health and many other private organizations. And I saw that actually in layman terms. I saw a medtech company partnering with the government, partnering with an AI company, and this is actually now a reality. So I'll leave you with the trend that I actually wrote about in 2016, a book chapter on, which is my vision, the combination of wearables, data, and artificial intelligence will be the game changer for healthcare, and is happening right here, right now.
Thank you.
Something else that is happening right here, right now, actually, is we were saying earlier about med devices being already FDA approved, and the most challenging element are for therapeutics. But when you know that there is this company that is called In Silico Medicine that has now got clinical trial phase 2 with a drug that is 100% developed with AI. So that's only the beginning. So that's really what gives me hope. And we are, with all those technologies, seeing, like, for example, there was this announcement about AlphaFold that predicts more than 50% accuracy of targets, molecules working on specific targets in oncology. So that was amazing news. And really, there's been a latest analysis that is saying that theoretically, within the next 10 years, the whole process of getting a new drug to market could go from 10 to 15 years to only 1 to 3 years using AI technology. So that's going to be amazing, amazing. So there is hope, there is a lot of opportunity. Everything is gearing towards that. And to be honest with you, we are so lucky to be in the middle of it. We are and experiencing it, being able to direct it. And like, again, when I started my career in CI, we were doing analysis, and now with the platform that we built with Spring, you can use different sources of your clinical data reports, conference reports, monitoring that we do for you, and it's going to build automatically a summary of the intelligence, reading all those PowerPoints that we've built for you. So it's really unique, and it's something that we couldn't have done like 2 years ago. So plenty to be done.
Thank you to all. I'm gonna go on a limb and share my prediction too. I think Gen AI is the one now that attracts all the attention, but I think adaptive AI will be the one for the future, because as we talked, we keep accumulating novel data sets, novel endpoints, and need to integrate them. So I think the ability of AI to adapt to all these novel inputs will be probably the next generation, so that we don't have to always customize and can continuously improve these AI products. But I'm very eager to see what the next few years bring, and also the brain-computer interfaces, as we've seen they're making progress. I think that's going to be also another layer of hybrid automation, that particularly for healthcare, fintech also. Imagine if now you have your neural link that can do all the wealth management you described, Dr. Boeckenfeld, imagine, or if the Neuralink can already adapt your clinical trial, or for wearables, right? That the Neuralink can already absorb data from wearables. Imagine how that would look like. So we live exciting times, and thank you to all of you for joining us today and sharing with our audience your expertise, your experience, and your predictions. Thank you so much. This concludes our session, and looking forward to the next week's session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for having us. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.